Alright, Shalom. This is Gamali Allah out of Great Millstone, Atlanta. I want to give all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rakakwadash, double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Excuse me. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the Akim that pushing out this truth and sincerity. Alright, coming at you with a quick lesson. And this is going to be off an article that I found. Alright, the new hot topic lately has been this government shutdown that Trump began at the beginning of the year. All right, in regards to his wall being built. All right, so just gonna go right into it. All right, it says national emergency coming. Trump announces border trip amid talk of using authority to build wall. All right. It says U.S. President Donald Trump says he will address the nation and later go to the border with Mexico a day after hinting he could declare a national emergency as government shutdown over funding of his border wall enters week 3. Right? So this will be the 3rd week, okay, of this government shutdown. All right, and you know, basically he's gonna address a he's basically gonna go on TV and I believe at 9 p.m. tomorrow. All right, he's going to address everything, you know, on national address. It says, I am pleased to inform you that I will address the nation on the humanitarian and national security crisis on our southern border. All right. And hey, that's the Spirit 144 right here. All right, I go to show you that you know, the Lord is, you know, throwing them signs out there for the elect. Okay, but it says Trump tweeted on Monday that he intends to address the nation on Tuesday. All right, yeah, we just read that. But yeah, you know, that's pretty much the point. Let me see if there's more. Okay, it says the crisis phrasing in both announcements has sparked speculation that the White House might be moving towards declaring a national emergency. All right, this would allow Trump to bypass Congress and use Pentagon funds to build a barrier along the border with Mexico. All right, so as we know, Trump wants this border. Okay, he's not going to stop until he gets this border. And you know, a brother did a good lesson. And he made a good point, which is the border is not to keep Mexicans from getting in the United States. It's to keep Americans from getting out. You know, to keep them from getting out of America. All right, because martial law is coming. All right, especially amid this national emergency, that basically gives him the right to declare martial law. All right. You know, which a lot of people don't know that, but once he declares a national emergency, basically that gives the president. Matter of fact, let's look it up. Let's look it up real quick. All right, so this is national emergency. It says, all right, what is a national emergency? Okay, it says a situation beyond the ordinary which threatens the health or safety of citizens, which cannot be properly addressed by the use of other law. And United States powers were interpreted from constitutional documents to vest in president to declare a national emergency. All right, let's see if there's more, because I want to really go into the powers that gives the president. All right. Okay, here it is. What can a president do during state of emergency? It says, leading up to the 2018 midterm elections, President Donald Trump reached deep into his arsenal to try to deliver votes to Republicans. Let me see where the point is at. Okay. Listen to this. The moment the president declares a national emergency, a decision that is entirely within his discretion, he is able to set aside many of the legal limits on his authority. See? Alright? It would be nice to think that America is protected from the worst excesses of Trump's impulses by its democratic laws and institutions. After all, Trump can do only so much without bumping up against the limits set by the Constitution and Congress and enforced by the courts. Those who see Trump as a threat to democracy comfort themselves with the belief that these limits will hold him in check. But will they? Unknown to most Americans, a parallel legal regime allows the president to sidestep many of the constraints that normally apply. The moment the president declares a national emergency, it says more than 100 special provisions become available to him. While many of these tee up reasonable responses to genuine emergencies, some appear dangerously suitable to a leader bent on amassing or retaining power. Alright, it says, for instance, the president can, with a flick of his pen, activate laws allowing him to shut down many kinds of electronic communications inside the United States or freeze Americans' bank accounts. Other powers are available even without a declaration of emergency, including laws that allow the president to deploy troops inside the country to subdue domestic unrest. Alright, and that's martial law. Alright, that basically gives him the power to enforce martial law. Alright, and it says he has the power to freeze bank accounts and shut down electronic communications, so he can pretty much shut down the phone lines too. Okay, during this national emergency. Alright, so as you see, this national emergency, that's a big deal. Alright, because and these people are saying that he could very well go up there on TV and declare a national emergency, and that'll spark off everything. Okay, that can spark off a race war, that can spark off Jacob's trouble. That could be the beginning of Jacob's trouble. All right, that could spark off, like I said, it could spark off martial law, and so on and so forth. No telling what could come out of this. But, we are happy, we are excited that this is happening, all right, because, basically, this contributes to the downfall of this system, okay, Esau's system. All right, now I'm going to keep reading. It says, Trump has not yet made a decision on declaring a national emergency. Vice President Mike Pence told reporters, adding that the White House's counsel's office is looking at the legality of such declaration and urging the Democrats to get back to the negotiating table. Alright, it says a quarter of the U.S. government has been shut down since December 22nd, affecting some 800,000 federal employees because congressional Democrats have refused to approve any funding for the border wall. Trump has stood by his demand for $5.6 billion approved by the Republican majority House before its term ran out on January 3rd. Democrat leaders have alternately called the wall too expensive, obsolete, and immoral. Okay? So, as you see, and this is something we bring out all the time, but this is Satan divided against Satan. Okay? Alright, scriptures say, if Satan be divided against Satan, how can this kingdom stand, basically? Alright, and that's what this is. You have divisions within the House of Representatives, okay, and the Senate. Alright, Trump brought up the idea of a national emergency during a press appearance Friday at the White House Rose Garden, and again over the weekend as he traveled to the presidential retreat at Camp David, Maryland. While some Democrats rejected it out of hand, others admitted it was technically in his power. All right. So, hey, this president, he has the power to do so. Okay, and like I said, it could very well spark off martial law. All right, and martial laws in the scriptures. All right, which I'm getting ready to get. And as a matter of fact, I'll start at 2 Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. All right, a woe to destruction to the world. All right, which is that's what we're that's what we want, is destruction to this world. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and let Trump, do what he's got to do. Let Trump, uh, declare, build his wall, declare whatever he needs to do. All right, to get this thing popping. All right, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. All right, and that's talking about race wars. All right, which this could very well start a race war, because you have a lot of Americans that are in support of Trump, and on the flip side, you have a lot of Americans that are against him. Okay, but it says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. So we know that this destruction is getting near, man. It's very, very close. Okay, and we look forward to this happening. Okay, all right. I'll keep going back to hold on real quick. Looking for alright, I'm gonna go back to the article. Alright, it says if Harry Truman couldn't nationalize the steel industry during wartime, this president doesn't have the power to declare an emergency and build a multi-billion-dollar wall on the border. So that's a non-starter. All right, said Representative Adam Schiff. His colleague Adam Smith was less convinced. Unfortunately, the short answer is yes, Smith told ABC's This Week host Stephanopoulos on Sunday, when asked if Trump could declare an emergency to build the wall. However, he added, I think the president would be wide open to a court challenge, saying, where is the emergency? You have to establish that in order to do this. Trump himself quoted Smith's admission in a tweet, then added, no doubt, but let's get our deal done in Congress. All right. All right, and this is a guy, Will Chamberlain. All right, he basically says, to sum up, the president has clear authority to build the wall. He should end the shutdown and simply proceed to fund the wall using this method. Okay? It says, if civil strife in Burundi is a national emergency, so is this. Alright. It says, moreover, Chamberlain argued in order to overrule an emergency declaration, both the House and the Senate would have to adopt a joint resolution with veto-proof majorities. This appears extremely unlikely since Democrats don't have a three-fifths majority in the House and are a minority in the Senate. This still leaves open the possibility of Democrat-backed legal challenge, most likely before a federal judge in California. Okay. Alright, so that was pretty much it on that. But as you see, there's a lot of division going on. Alright, and this guy Trump is not playing. Okay, he's making it happen. Alright, which we'll see tomorrow night if he's gonna declare this national emergency. Alright, now I have another article real quick before my computer dies. Donald Trump's speech will make the shutdown worse. All right, let's see what they're talking about. Lost opportunities equal lost revenue. So let this ad pass. Okay.
President Trump now considering an unprecedented move to get his border wall.
I may declare a national emergency dependent on what's going to happen over the next few days.
Trump suggesting to reporters he could declare a national emergency to bypass Congress to get the wall funds he requested.
We have an absolute crisis, and of criminals and gang members coming through. It is national security. It's a national emergency.
Arguing for those emergency powers, the president quoted Democrat Adam Smith, the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, tweeting, "Yes, there is a provision in law that says a president can declare an emergency." The quote from Smith's ABC appearance on Sunday, where he also said,
"And in this case, I think the president would be wide open to a court challenge saying, where's the emergency?
All right, and there's the guy, Adam Smith, that basically spoke those words.
To establish that in order to do this.
Smith telling CNN today,
"I think it would be a huge mistake to declare a national emergency. There is no national emergency."
Trump is now planning a primetime address on Tuesday and a trip to the border on Thursday in hopes to persuade Americans to support his border wall proposal. But a weekend of staff-level negotiations led by Vice President Mike Pence didn't bring either side closer to a deal, sources tell CNN, the White House outlining its request in a letter, including more money for urgent humanitarian needs, extra detention beds, additional law enforcement personnel, and changing the wall from concrete to steel, something some Democrats prefer.
They don't like concrete, so we'll give them steel.
But on day 17 of the shutdown, it doesn't appear to be ending anytime soon, with both sides pointing the finger at the other.
Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and...
That's why they're calling it a stalemate. All right, because basically they can't reach a conclusion. Okay?
Can solve this in 20 minutes if they want to. If they don't want to, it's going to go on for a long time. There's not going to be any bend right here.
Here we are in the third week of the Trump shutdown. Why? It's only because of one person, and that is President Trump.
But as negotiations continue at a stalemate, the pain inflicted by the shutdown will get worse for those federal workers who won't get a paycheck on Friday.
I can relate, and I'm sure that the people that are on the receiving end will make adjustment. They always do, and they'll make adjustment. People understand exactly what's going on. But many of those people that won't be receiving a paycheck, many of those people agree 100% with what I'm doing.
All right, which, you know, we know that's a damn lie. All right. Okay, it says Bucket 1, Trump announces he is declaring a state of emergency on the border, allowing him to use money allocated to the military to build a wall along the southern border. Alright, it says Bucket 2, Trump cobbles up together the various half-true and less than half-true statistics his administration has been using to create the idea of a crisis at the border, sprinkles in some anecdotes about violence committed by people in the country illegally, and voila, a primetime address. Okay? Alright. So they basically, you know, have two different opposing opinions. All right. So you know, this is pretty much what's going on in America, you know, right now. All right. So we're gonna tune in to see what's gonna happen out of this. All right. We know, like I said, we know that this is all prophecy. All right, which is the destruction of America. All right. This is the prophecy of Satan being divided against Satan. All right. All right, and you know, we know that, you know, shortly after, this kingdom is gonna crumble. It's gonna fall apart. It has to. All right. So with that, I want to give our praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM Kakudash. Double honors to our elders and apostles. Shalom.